So if you go to google.com, you guys, and you just go in and search for CDC BRFSS, I'm just gonna press enter. Then you get this stuff here, you guys. You go to the cdc.gov website right here, and it shows you here. It's the behavioral risk factor surveillance system, you guys. And so I picked up a part-time gig doing surveys for the CDC. And so what we do is we call residences and households, and I read them a script and everything, and I ask them questions about health and health practices and things like that, a lot of issues that they got going on and stuff like that. And so um I wanted to just tell you guys a little bit. I've worked for them for a few months now, and I want to tell you guys what I've learned from doing these surveys. And it's actually made me change my life up a little bit. It's kind of I just got the shower, that's why I'm kind of like sweaty and oily and shit like that. It's water, but I was thinking of some ideas and some videos and some things that I just wanted to talk about. I would love to spread this information because I think it will be life changing to some people, because it's been life changing to me. Now, a lot of people don't answer the surveys, they don't answer the calls. Sometimes the CDC will actually send out mail to households that they're going to call to ensure that we'll be able to get more information and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't do it. But the people that do it, you guys, I found a couple of patterns that show up in life, you guys. Now, I think that things are very generational, especially in 2024 with the inception of fucking social media, with the progression and the development of all of the stuff that we got nowadays, you guys. I think things are a little bit different, but I do want to share with you some of the patterns that I've noticed and the lifestyle changes that I'm going to make based off of the information that I've gotten from the people that participated in the surveys. So typically, sorry about that. And one more time, you guys, like this, you can just go to the website. You can look at all this kind of stuff, man. Just the sheer amount of data that comes from that the government can get from you guys is scary. And if I were to I think it's interesting to be a part of something like this. I'm very torn between whether or not I would participate if they called me, if I would participate in this versus just completely hanging up. I did get to interview one guy my age, actually, 29, and so that was really interesting. I can't believe he did it. He was in the army, though. That's probably why. But I want to share with you guys a couple things real quick. So most of the people that do the surveys, that finish the surveys, are 60 plus, right? Very they're old, in my personal opinion. I think that's fairly old. The oldest person I've talked to was a 93 or 94-year-old woman, white woman, and she sounded very healthy actually for her age. I was very surprised. Um, First thing, smoking. So I can't. So one of the questions in the survey that I ask is, have you smoked at least 100 cigarettes in your entire life? And then, depending on how they answer that, we go down an entire different string of tobacco-related questions, and then we start to get to we start to ask about screening for lung cancers, getting CT and CAT scans of your chest area to look for lung cancer and things like that. And most of the questions, all of the questions for the most part, are either yes or no. And rarely we'll let you know. I'll let you know, or the surveyor will let you know whenever there's going to be like a quantifiable number as an answer for the question or something like that. But most of the time it's just yes or no. So, um, the people that answer yes to it, a lot of them have stopped by the time they're in their 60s. And a couple things that I've noticed is that a lot of the people who've smoked a lot, and they've smoked 10 to 20. I've heard someone smoking about 30 cigarettes a day. 10 to 30, none of them have ever gotten they've gotten CT and CAT scans of their chest, but none of them have gotten it to check for lung cancer. And so I think that's really important. I think you should definitely get some to check out for lung cancer. But a lot of them stopped in their 20s, and they've never looked back. And I think that's extremely important. And so one, like, part of the tobacco related things are Dutches, you know what I'm saying, like cigarillos, blunts, and backwoods and shit like that. And so being someone that has been smoking since I was 16, which is actually the common age for a lot of people. I came across someone that started smoking when they were 13. I'm like, damn, what the fuck were you doing? Where were your parents at? But once again, they were like 60, 70, so things were just different back in the day. But me personally, I've been smoking blunts for about over 10 years now. And so and especially since COVID has happened, you guys, I haven't been in an office location since COVID. So that's 4 years. I just now have actually gotten a part-time job at an actual physical location for the first time in 4 years. But since then, man, I've been at home, just smoking a shit ton, you guys. Especially when I was making a lot of money, man. I'd buy a fucking like a pound, a quarter, a QP at a time, man, and I'd be blowing like a fucking chimney, you guys. But one thing I really realized, and I felt like it after a while. I felt like my lungs were not getting too good, man, and so I want to stop. I'm gonna try to stop smoking so many blunts. I don't think it's a good thing, man. It's kind of scaring me. Some of the people that said the reasons why they stopped smoking, and because we go into questions about asking about tobacco cessation, some of the people stopped smoking because family members of them have died. I spoke to a guy, and he said that he stopped at 45 because his brother got lung cancer and died from smoking cigarettes, and so that shocked him to stopping completely, and he hadn't smoked a cigarette in 20 some plus years. And so, me being 29 now, I think it's extremely important for me to start taking my lung health seriously. I love hanging out with my homies and stuff like that. And this kind of goes into another video that I wanted to make, just talking about friends and hanging out and stuff like that. Especially coming from my kind of background. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm not gonna get into that in this video too much, but a lot of my homies and a lot of people that I hang around with and have hung around with, and just what I've known for most of my life, smoke just smoke a lot of blunts, you know what I'm saying? Do a lot of drugs and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Sell drugs and shit like that. And so it's I've had to purposefully separate myself from and purposefully not partake in a lot. I still go out, but I try not I limit myself. They're like, hey man, you ain't smoking, bro. And I'm like, man, nah, I'll take a puff or two, man. I'm really limiting myself because, and I'm doing swimming a lot more, man. I'm trying to get my lungs healed over time because it's so important to keep your health together. And so taking your lungs seriously, lung care and health seriously, that's one thing that I learned from it. Two, the number two most important thing that I learned about doing these surveys from people is the pattern of marriage. Um, like Kevin Samuel said, and I'm gonna go down another string of reacting to Kevin Samuel's videos. Rest his soul, man. I honestly think a lot of people didn't agree with me when I said this, and it sucks even talking about this in person to other black people, especially black women, about this because Kevin is the devil. He's actually the manifestation of the devil in so many black women's is in their minds, and it's such a good thing he's dead into them, and it's so saddening, because you can truly want to help your people and they literally want you to die, right? You're not sticking to the program, you're not sticking to the propaganda, you're actually telling people to look at themselves in the mirror, telling them what's wrong with them. Oh, you're bad, you're a demon, you know what I'm saying? And so one thing I have seen, and because we always ask demographic information when I'm talking to these people, white people are married, black people are single, are never married. I spoke to several black women who have master's degrees, 60 plus, single, never married. You know what I'm saying? And they're making like 35,000, 40,000, $50,000 a year with master's degrees and single. And it's just, it's I'm kind of at a loss of words because it feels like I'm beating a dead horse. It's almost no point in even talking about this sometimes because it's just not going to change anything. If anything, it's just the few people that I'm talking to. I hope like it could reach you in your mind, and you could open up your mind, and it can hopefully alter your life. But the amount of people that this type of message reaches is just so small. And obviously because my audience is extremely small, but like I think it's so important to to if like I don't necessarily agree with the way men are so vulnerable when it comes to the marriage repercussions if things just don't go right. Like that's what I dislike about marriage, but bonding and having someone that literally looks after you, has your life like taken care of, is so fucking important. I've spoken to several married couples who the wife or the husband is chronically ill, bedridden for several years plus, and they got a loving wife or a loving husband there really taking care of them. God forbid something like that happens, but that shit's important, man. That's important for quality of life, for your long term, man. We live in such a live fast, die young mentality society that we if a person comes along in our life and they don't meet 100% of our expectations or what we want or desires, they're just fucking disposable. And that's I believe that's the incorrect way of treating people that you intimately invite into your life. You're sharing your soul, your body, your emotions, your innermost secrets, and like, you know what I mean. And then things just don't go the way you wanted it to, or the other person didn't want it to, or you guys just found a mishap in communication, shit like that. You know, I can't speak for every situation, but I think the way that we loosely treat relationships and exes is so detrimental, and it plays out, man. And like, it plays out. You may not see the repercussions in your 20s, you may not see the repercussions in your 30s, hell, you may not feel it in your 40s, but when you hit 60 and 70, shit gets shit gets tough, man. Some of these people ain't walking the same. Some of these people, you know, they're not breathing the same, and it really starts to get scary. You can't work as much, and so a lot of people. And I'll say this too, man. I've spoken to a lot of white couples, man, and there's quite a few 65 plus white people, yeah, like, I'll just say like that. There's 65 plus couples, they're white, making 150,000 dollars plus, and it's due to two incomes, right? They're living fairly good. Now, 100,000 is coming from someone who's made $100,000 the past 3 years, you guys. 100,000 as a single person was fucking good. It was really good. Really, really good. But it's you're not living lavish. You're not living luxury, right? You're still that close to, shit, like a big emergency happens. You gotta drop a $4,000 or $5,000, and then it's like, back to, paycheck to paycheck. And so that, even 100,000, 200,000 is just not comfortable, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? But at that age, 65, 70 plus, what are you really doing? I think a lot of people in their minds think that when they're retired, oh, you're just going to be going to Turks and Caicos, you're going to go to fucking Cabo, you're going all over the fucking country, the world, and just living life. That's not reality, you guys. That's not reality for 99% of the population. And I think it's important for younger people to realize and understand these types of things, you guys. And what I mean by younger people, if you are under 50, you still have opportunities and plenty of time to change your life around, to really structure your life, man. Because, like, this is, and like, I have to make another video on this, you guys, but it's so important to really think long term, man. People, it's such a common misconception in society where we say life is short. Life can be short depending on what the fuck you do with your life, man. But more often than not, you guys, 60, 70, 80, 100 years, that's a long time to be on this fucking planet. I don't know about you guys, I'm almost 30. I feel like I've lived 3 4 different fucking lives, man. And I'm not even 30 yet. I feel like I've lived 3 and 4 different fucking lives. I've been like 10 plus reiterations of myself, you know what I'm saying? And I've got plenty of time left to go, you guys. You need to treat your body with care. You need to treat relationships like they really matter, man. You've got to be intentional with the way that you move throughout life. And so that's what I think marriage is extremely important. You got to think about later life, you guys. And maybe not necessarily marriage, but the concept of having a lifetime partner, someone that looks out for your best interests, who cares about your life. You know what I'm saying? 3, one of the questions that I also ask is social determinants of health equity, right? So and so what that is we'll ask, that comes out in the form of a question of, in terms of social and emotional support, how much emotional or social support do you get when you need? And you answer always, never, sometimes, usually. And unfortunately, but once again, men, you're very fucking vulnerable, you guys. You gotta stop. I'm gonna have to talk more about this. Men, you are the most vulnerable people on this fucking, and at least in America, in the Western world, stop believing this shit about women being like vulnerable and we got to care about the women and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to care about everybody, but seriously, men, you've really got to put yourself first, and you've got to really start nourishing and nurturing communities for yourselves, man. We've got to come back to really being men. Men, you are extremely vulnerable. We are very fucking vulnerable. Women, there's always going to be supportive groups for women. There's always going to be another man to pick up another woman. She'll never be lonely. Anytime that I've done these surveys for women, they never say that they're lonely. Never. None of them. Never. But when I speak to the men, even if they're married, I get usually lonely, and they're 60, 65 plus, and they're either living by themselves, or one guy that I spoke with, man, he was like 65, 70 plus. He lived by himself. He was widowed. His wife passed away, but luckily he had AA, right? He had Alcoholics Anonymous, and he said that had it not been for that group, he would not have the emotional or the social support that he would need to be fulfilled. And you're getting your social and emotional support from an Alcoholic Anonymous group. And I'm not here to make judgments or anything like that, but I know that you would want to pull an emotional support, like you would want to pull, you would want to get that from a higher quality pool, right? Instead of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's better to have some than to not have none. You know what I'm saying? But men, you really seriously have got to think about yourself, man. Like, I know it's so easy to want to care about women and shit like that. No, at an early age, we need to start instilling the importance of men, of healthy men. Like this toxic masculinity, fuck that shit, man. Men, especially if we group together, we're going to discipline each other. The right kind of men are gonna stand up in the crop, and they're gonna help each other out, man. And that's that's just real. That's just how it is. And if it's not that way, which is the way it is for me right now, and I'm gonna tell you guys, and I'm gonna document the journey on changing my social circle, because I've had to do this the past like 6-7 years, you guys. I've had to really reevaluate my social circle and the people I hang around with so I can change my life. But that's I think the third thing that I said, man. It's so important for emotional and social support for men. You've really got to get that going, you guys. You don't want to be old and just relying on your wife or your family members, anything like that. It's extremely important, men in particular, to truly nourish those social groups. For just how fucking damaged the economy is, right? So one of the other questions we have to ask is, do you rent or own your home? And everyone that's 65 plus, for the most part, and because I've spoken to a couple black people, the white people own their homes, black people don't. Black people are renting. The black women are renting, I should say. I haven't spoken to any black men who've done the surveys, but the black women I've spoken to who have their master's degrees and that are 60 plus, making 50, 60,000, they rent, man. But the married couples, 65 plus white, they own their homes. And then also, I have to talk about this too. They own their homes, so we're in a different fucking economy, you guys. Owning your home ownership is, I'm not going to say a thing of the past, but it's something that is extremely hard to attain, and attain it the right way. Just because you're rich, you got $1 million and you got a property, for you're still locked in a 30-year loan. And if it's not a 30-year loan, you're locked in to paying property taxes. If you don't have proper real estate education, it's not an asset. It's really not an asset. It's a liability. This is what Robert Kiyosaki said in Rich Dad Poor Dad. Houses are not assets, they're liabilities. I know people want to kind of fucking go around and say, oh, otherwise, but listen, you guys, I have my loan license and I have my real estate license. You can check it up, man. It's on my Instagram page. I put my fucking credentials there. You can go to Trek or go to the NMLS website and you can look me up. Literally, you can look up my fucking life. I'm there on the federal registries. And so that means I've been educated on this kind of things, you guys. I'm actually a professional with this. I'm a professional. I have professional licenses. I've had to get my fingerprint stamped. I'm registered federally, you guys. And so I'm here to tell you guys, like, houses and properties after doing all the education and kind of being in the field a little bit, you guys, it's just not like if like having the education I have now, knowing about the real estate market, knowing how taxes work, knowing how all the different laws and zoning and shit like that works, and even doing some outside education such as wholesaling and subject twos and different ways that you can get into creative financing for properties and shit like that. Had I not known this education, I would be so like, I don't think it's a smart idea to get a bunch of properties as a millionaire. Shit can go left so easily, so quickly. Houses are money sinks. I know you guys are seeing a lot of celebrities online. You're seeing their houses are going to foreclosure and shit like that. It's because of stupid investments, man. Buying $1 million houses is just a flex. It's not actually like it's not a smart investment. It's just not smart. Buying you 30, $40 million, $10 million mansions is not a smart investment. Because I'm gonna tell you why. The pool of people that you have to that can even afford to buy that property back is so small that usually what you paid for that, you're gonna have to go probably half of what you paid just to get your hands cleaned off that motherfucker. You paid 10 million for that, you'd be lucky to get 5 million for that property if you're trying to sell it. You know what I'm saying? So you'd be down a whole 5+ million, not to mention any renovations, any fucking all the taxes you paid on it. You're not getting that shit back. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, as a real estate agent, I can represent myself and I can get a little bit of a kickback for any property that I purchase or sell for myself. But other than that, you guys, like, assets are just, it's just not, especially in today's economy. Education is so much more important. It's as important as having the money. I should say it like that, and I'll leave it at that, right? So we'll leave that. The economy's different. People own their homes that are much older versus now. It's just not really a thing, right? And so number five, what's number five here for that I've learned for the surveys? Um, hmm, number five. I mean, it's a generic one, but health, you guys. You like health is man. You really got to take care of yourself, you guys. You really got to take care of yourself. I think this matters once again mostly for the men versus the women. I've spoken to a lot of women that are 60 plus, and they're very much so I would say overweight, and being overweight is going to cause a lot of complications for yourself later down the road. Now, luckily, the thing that works in women's favor, they can do that because they're always going to have family members or just somebody like around them to take care of them. As a guy, not so much, man. It's extremely important once again to really just take your life so much more seriously. You have to go into living and progressing into life knowing, not believing, knowing that you are extremely vulnerable, the most vulnerable type of person on this planet, on at least in the Western society. As a man, if you don't have a good social emotional support system around you, guys, you are extremely vulnerable, and you need to really understand that, and you've got to work at cementing and building a strong foundation for your later life, right? So that it can be as smooth as possible. You already have a lower life expectancy as women. Like, why make it lower? You know what I'm saying? In today's, I was just thinking about this in 2024, you guys, and it's been like this for a minute. The best person, and this is why a lot of people are going transgendering into women. The best gender to be in is a woman. This is the best time has ever been in human history to be a woman. And it's been like this for a minute, and it's going to be like this for a long time, especially if Western ideology continues to spread throughout the world, you guys. This is the best thing to be a woman in terms of every fucking thing. You're going to have amazing work opportunities. You're going to have amazing social support. You're going to have an amazing sex life. You're going to have an amazing everything until and so as a woman, unfortunately, if you don't believe that, you're not looking at life from reality. You're not experiencing it. You have so much that you don't understand what it's like to have nothing, to have little. Even very successful, very attractive men are having a tough time in this market right now, you guys. It's not easy. But as a woman, you got inherent demand. You know what I'm saying? And so it's you've got a lot of opportunity, your potential to just skyrocket up into the world and just have a happy fucking life is so much more um like possible as a woman than it is a man. A lot of men are gonna live very unhappy, unsuccessful lives, and it's not even gonna be comparable. Not even comparable, you guys. And so it's important as fuck to really take care of yourself and to make yourself the best that you can be, right? At all times. Live a life of health and abundance and stuff like that, you guys. And so this is a very long video. I didn't expect it to be this long. But once again, you guys, man, check out that, you know, the website, the BRFSS. You know, it's extremely important, and I know this video isn't gonna get a lot of views, but I hope that this helped and changed anyone's life, and I hope at least maybe it, brought some things to your mind that you didn't think of before, because I feel like, this is crazy. Had I not had this job, um man, I it just brings things into perspective, right? Actually talking about it is one thing, to hear it from a person on YouTube or someone that you a family member, or just in a passing by conversation with a coworker or something like that. But to actually have this position, and I get paid to do these interviews with people, and I get to listen to these stories, and they're telling me their life, their health conditions and shit like that, you guys. You learn a lot, and so I just wanted to share that with you guys, man. Anyways, it's your brother Trey, man, and I hope you guys have a good one.